Morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to a special meeting of the Public Works Committee. First on the agenda is the Highway Superintendent, Rich Brummer. Morning, Rich.
Morning. Just got one thing for you. I'd like to request a motion to approve the acquisition of two small properties on County Highway 58A in Milford, not to exceed $11,000 out of D 5112-520200. That's our local bridge line. And this is for the bridge replacement project.
I hear a motion.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
This is the one we've talked about several times. The owners finally agreed to it and should be able to help us move this project along.
Okay, hearing no more, any discussion, we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty?
Yes.
Wilbur?
Aye.
Marietta?
Yes.
Scanlon absent, Mendez absent.
No no's, that passed.
Thank you. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Next is Building Service. Tim, Tammy, and Kevin.
Good morning. We have a request for a late resolution to enter into agreement with NYSERDA. This is for an energy efficiency and conservation block grant. These are federal funds. The total amount is $603,273.60. It is to do a passive passive home principal energy audit of the Meadows building. And then based off the recommendations from that audit, the remaining funds on that grant contract will go towards implementing as many of those recommendations as the grant allows. So the reason why we wanted to bring this now instead of waiting through the regular committee process is because this has an end date of September 30th, 2026. The first phase, which is the audit, has to be completed by the end of this year. So we want to get rolling on it as quick as possible. And then, so then we have as much time to get that audit done and start getting the stuff implemented, because a year is not a lot of time. So we are looking for resolution to approve signing that contract.
I hear a motion.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? There's no county money involved in this,
Nope, no match.
and there's nothing saying when they do the audit, we don't have enough to do what they said that needs to be done, that we have to do it.
I imagine there'll be something that we can do. I could tell you all the list of things that they allow for. So they'll allow for energy efficiency projects, including envelope weatherization, lighting, energy efficient appliances, heating and cooling, cool roofs, water efficiency measures, energy management systems, energy storage systems, building energy management systems, electrification measures, cooking equipment, and wiring and panel upgrades. So I would think, we don't know how much the audit is going to end up costing. We got to get rolling on the procurement for that. So, but I would think after that, there would be something in that, after the whole 600,000 after that audit, there would be something in that list of things we should be able to.
Do we get that money up front, or is it gotta?
It's reimbursement. So it's
whoever the vendor is has to wait for them to pay it. I mean, we don't have to pay the vendor.
We'll pay the vendor, yep, and then we'll get reimbursed. And we can be reimbursed as frequently as monthly.
So however, it does not cover hazardous material abatement.
Yeah.
So the south side of the Meadows, if we did things there, if we identified hazardous material that need to be removed.
Such as ACM. Such as ACM.
Yes. So
So that could influence what projects we decide to do through.
It's reason.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
McCarty?
Aye.
Wilbur?
Aye.
Marietta?
Yes.
Scanlon absent, Mendez absent.
Hearing no's, all ayes, that passed.
That's all we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Public works?
Motion to adjourn?
I have a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Recording stopped.
Okay, so we're gonna begin the administration committee meeting at 9:50. We're live with that meeting now. So if, is it planning, who's that? Planning and Handler. Building services you already did, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna have planning come back up.
Good.
And tell us what we are gonna vote on. Like, just give us the whole spiel, even though we
just
Yeah.
went over it, yes.
Please do.
So we've been awarded
Every
an
time there.
energy efficiency and conservation block grant, federal funding that's coming through NYSERDA. And we're looking to have a late resolution to sign the grant agreement. And that includes part one, which is an energy audit, and then the remaining funds will be used to implement recommendations from the energy audit. This is for the metals.
So,
Second.
Any questions or discussion? So in the Public Works meeting, we did have a kind of a laundry list of possible projects. And so we'll expend the money, do the survey, and then choose projects that we can afford and work into our schedule of maintenance or upgrades.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. To be completed by September 30th, 2026.
Okay, so
It's
we're
fast.
gonna
We
be
gotta-
moving right
We're
through it.
gonna roll right through it.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion on the NYSERDA grant? We'll go to a vote.
Kennedy,
Yes?
McCarty.
Aye.
Wilbur.
Aye.
Martini. Marietta.
yes.
Peyton, absent.
Okay, so that motion passes. And we have no other.
You have, you have.
Oh, we do have highway. Yes.
No,
No?
never mind.
No, we don't.
I don't have. I believe we approved that at the August,
Let me check. I think
admin
we did.
committee meeting contingent on public works approving it
I
today.
think that's how we did
But I
it.
can,
Because yesterday, Carol, you just had the one
I
agenda.
think it was in the packet.
That is correct, yes.
thanks, Rich.
Okay,
Thank you all.
okay. So,
Move to adjourn?
Second.
okay, the admin committee is adjourned.
Recording stopped.
We will now call our September 3rd, 2025 meeting to order. Roll call members.
Fraser,
Here.
Powers.
Here.
Brockway.
Here.
Caton, absent. Kennedy,
Here.
Mickle. Here. Bliss.
Here.
Marietta.
Here.
McCarty.
Here.
Wilbur.
Here.
Mendez, absent. Martini.
Here.
Scanlon, absent. Basile.
Here.
We're able to stand for our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now on our agenda, we have our privilege of the floor section. If there's anybody who'd like to speak to address the board today, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and you're limited to 3 minutes.
My name is Edward Doyett. I live in the hamlet of Welcome in the town of New Lisbon. First thing, a lot of people have asked me why their electric bills are going so doggone high and everything like that. One thing I threw at them, that's probably correct, is that the state or local municipalities, they tax your electric bill and they make money off of it. I believe it all works on a percentage, the same as any commodity or gas, anything that you're buying. So, that's part of the issue. The more the price goes up, the more money they take in. The next issue, I wanted to go back to the Marcy South line, the way things went with that. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, a wonderful man, but he was good, very focal on that issue, fighting it big time, like there was no tomorrow. I had contacted his office numerous times and everything, and all of a sudden, once he was bought out, they moved the line off of his property. They moved it a number of times to get alternate routes. So then all of a sudden he was silent. They bought his silence. Now, there was a gentleman, Colin Ingham, a lawyer over by Garrettsville, and he ended up, beating the State Power Authority in court. They were not allowed to trespass on private property without the owner's permission. They did stuff in the middle of the night. I was advised by somebody I know with the state police, don't call the state police, they're useless. They got all orders directly from Albany not to interfere with anything going on with the Marcy line. Call the sheriff's department instead. They'll do what they had to be done. And I applaud the sheriff's department for that. The sheriff's department told me they were using some of the most sophisticated night vision stuff going so that they could do and check out the surveying. They did that at night when people were asleep. This is what went on. This is New York State. They did this business, and needless to say, what ends up happening? Basically, a judge the judge took Ingram's thing in account, and he voted, put a thing against the state trespassing on private property. Now, that was a Supreme Court justice. So now the governor had to go all over to find a judge that would countermand the order. There was no judge that would countermand it. So another judge, somewhere out by Buffalo, I believe it was, that judge said plain and simple, while I'm trying to decide what is going to be legal or illegal with this, they can go and they can survey the properties. Once they surveyed the properties, they dropped the case immediately because they had the coordinates, and eminent domain came into play. That was the end of the story with that. That's what goes on in New York State. Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on. As you all are well aware, on July 18th, tragedy struck here in Milford. This morning, we are going to honor 2 local firefighters that saved a local man's life. Truly, these men are heroes. I would like to personally thank them for all of their service. You train hard, hoping that you never need to use the learned techniques, but what a relief when you are prepared and knowledgeable in that moment of need. Great job. During that night, the next day, and the days and weeks following, literally hundreds of firefighters, EMS, law enforcement officers, ours and other highway workers, local residents, local officials, and businesses all made extraordinary contributions in their own respective ways. These individuals and agencies are too numerous to list. We extend our thanks and gratitude to each and every one of them. I know that several of our county personnel have already been of assistance, but to the officials, businesses, and individuals that were impacted by this tragedy, if any of our county agencies could be of any further service, please let us know. This is our purpose. Now I'm going to turn this over to our Emergency Services Coordinator, Victor Jones, his Assistant Emergency Service Coordinator, Damon West, who is also the Milford Fire Chief, our Public Safety and Legal Affairs Committee Chairman, Dan Wilbur, Milford Mayor, Brian Picorni, and I'd like to call up the 2 honorees, Firefighter Will Smith and Assistant Chief Jonathan Ash.
Good morning, everyone. That's what I like about living in a small community. We have multiple officials that fulfill multiple roles, so it's nice to have them up here. The board has put forth a resolution honoring Milford Fire Department Assistant Chief Jonathan Ash and firefighter Will Smith for the rescue of a Milford resident from the 2nd floor apartment. Wilbur, Mickle, Peyton, Brockway, and Towers. Whereas on Friday, July 18th, 2025, the Milford Fire Department was activated at 1:57 a.m. for a reported structure fire at the Milford Corner Store in the village of Milford, and whereas upon arrival, the fire had spread through 1 additional commercial building and 2 nearby residences, and whereas the Milford Fire Department Assistant Chief Jonathan Ash and Milford firefighter Will Smith were able to rescue an occupant trapped on the 2nd floor of one of the involved residential buildings. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Representatives of the Otsego County honors Milford firefighter Assistant Chief Jonathan Ash and Milford firefighter Will Smith for their heroic act of service. I'd like to present each of you with resolution. And then I would like to turn it over to our fire coordinator, Victor Jones.
Chairman Frazier, members of the Otsego County Board of Representatives, Mayor Brian Picorni, Deputy Mayor Mike Strong, Trustee Dave West, Chief Damon West, family and friends of Milford firefighters, Assistant Chief Jonathan Ash, and firefighter Will Smith. Today we gather not only to honor bravery, but to recognize 2 individuals whose actions truly embody the very spirit of the fire service: courage, selflessness, and the dedication to others. July 18th, 2025 at approximately 1:57 a.m., a devastating fire that tore through the heart of Milford, a piece of its village history. Firefighters Ash and Smith were alerted to a man who was yelling for help from the 2nd story of Sybil's yarn shop closest to the corner store. Through thick smoke and intense heat, you risked your own safety to rescue a stranger. You have showed us exactly what it means to put others before yourselves. Because of your heroic actions, a life was saved. You did what every firefighter dreams of doing in the fire service. And as the Otsego County Fire Coordinator, I stand here to thank you. I would ask that you please join me in recognizing firefighter Jonathan Ash and firefighter Will Smith for their heroism and commitment to protecting the great residents of Otsego County. Your courage makes us proud, and we are extremely grateful for all that you do. On behalf of the Emergency Services Office, please accept this small token of our appreciation. Jonathan. Nicely done. Chief West. I guess I'm supposed to give you a quick story of what happened. About 2 o'clock, I guess it was 1:57. We got called out for a structure fire, reported structure fire at the corner store. Woke up, I says, "Hey, corner store's on fire," and I was like, "No, it's not." I wasn't at my house. We were staying at our camp. Get my stuff together, start driving up the road. One of our squad officers, our squad captain, called on scene, said working structure fire. Okay, nothing major, right? Yep, until I broke the knoll and the whole sky was orange. My captain, who's also the deputy mayor, jokes about it, that I was all upset because I did not hear any of our fire trucks on the radio. They were a little busy, pulled up. Corner store was fully involved, 2 other buildings significantly involved. Jonathan comes up to me and says, "We have confirmed entrapment of somebody on the 2nd floor on the side of Sybil's Yarn Shop, the old hardware store." Okay. Them and a few other firefighters were getting ladders ready to go up and make entry into the 2nd floor. I walked around the front of the building, and the victim, Zach, was leaning out the front window of his apartment screaming for help right next to the corner store. Fire already coming into his apartment. Told Jonathan and Will and the other firemen who were on scene, firefighters. Found the person on the 2nd floor in the front. Immediately put up the ladder, went up, rescued him, brought him down, turned him over to EMS. And then these 2 decided to go back up into the 2nd floor and do a search of the entire 2nd floor to make sure no one else was in there. So, as a fire chief and your guys' friends, very proud.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the minutes of August 6th and August 21st.
So
Second here.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried. Presentation of petitions, communications, and notices.
I have a notice and acknowledgement of receipt of summons and complaints. Frederick Canfield versus Peter Tolega. I don't even know how to pronounce the name. And Richard Kimmer. Unlawful search and seizure, police misconduct, failure of due process, compensatory damage is $500,000, punitive damage $2 million.
Presentation. Move on to reports of standing committees. Public Works, Representative McCarty.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just had a meeting this morning. I'll do that first before I forget it, which will be late resolution. a request from the highway superintendent to approve buying 2 small properties on County Route 58A in the town of Milford, not to exceed $11,000. We need this property to replace a bridge. Building Services was in, they requested a resident to accept and sign the grant contract with Marcia for an energy efficiency and conservation block grant fund. It's federal money in the amount of $603,273.60. I don't know what 60 cents are. For a study of the Meadows building, and the remaining funds will be used for some improvements that were presented from the grant. That was approved. That'll come as late resolutions. We met on August 14th. Cinda Hoteling was in and gave a quarterly program review, second quarter. I presented some requests from Building Services. It was a contract for refrigeration and HVAC repair contract. Also a contract approval to renew miscellaneous plumbing services. And also a contract approving Service Bethlehem to renew, to work on oil and gas boilers, and that contract was in the amount of $18,257. The other 2 were as we use them. We also discussed the Veterans Monument out in front of below the courthouse and personnel office. Dan and I looked at it, the monument last week, and asked the Director of Building Service to do some general upkeep and to put a sign up to watch your step if you step up on it. We're exploring grant funding opportunities for the funding to fix that up. E911 was in. Bobby O'Brien, the committee continued to discuss last month dealing concerning the T-Mobile proposal to put a tower up outside of this building. That's an ongoing conversation. Rich Bremer was in, requested approval for resolution funding and filling above base of 3 HMOE position 1s for 2026. Our trouble hiring people, so we have to kind of make a little incentive to get somebody on. We also extended the TE Assistant Business Office Manager position. We also requested approval to purchase the following equipment for 2026 out of CHIPS money. The brush chipper at $75,000, 1-ton sign truck at $90,000, a 1-ton plow truck not to exceed $105,000, a lowboy trailer to move equipment for $140,000, double drum of vibratory roller not to exceed $185,000. We did approve that. At this time, we don't know if it's all going to stay in or not, but at least we sent in a letter of intent. They also requested to purchase a standby generator for the highway building at a cost not to exceed $45,000. They kind of really need one of those down there. They have one, but it's kind of old and wore out. We need it so we can at least get our trucks out of the building and get fuel. We approved that. Rich also informed the committee that the line striping was going to start the following week, and that was it. And we meet again on September 11th at 9 a.m.
Thank you. Any questions for the chair? Hang on, moving on. Intergovernmental Affairs, Representative Nichol.
Chairman Frazier, we met on August 12th at 11 a.m. in this room. We first met with Sandra Harrington from Destination Marketing. Their contract is coming to an end, and she is proposing a 5-year contract with the first year having no increase and then an increase of $25,000 a year for the next 4 years. I do believe that is in review with the county attorney's office. We then met with Phil Kaus, the director of Veteran Services. He gave us a second quarter strategic plan update and also mentioned that there is no federal impact pertaining to his department from the cuts at the federal level. At that point, we went into executive session. We came out and met with Director of Planning, Tammy Harris. She gave us a second quarter update as well and asked for approval to apply for the NYSERDA Clean Mobility Act, which has been discussed here this morning. Also, approval to apply for the RTAP Community Rides Grant. She also requested approval to partner with ORHA, where there is a grant for vacant rental housing that can be helpful for any landlords that have houses that need repairs. And at that point, County Administrator Steve Wilson requested to approve the reimbursement to the county historian of $719 because she bought maps using her own funding. Chair Caton asked that we consider putting $25,000 aside to help fund any of the America 250 events. Of course, that will have to be approved during the budget process. And lastly, Jacinda gave us an update for all the departments that report to us. And that was it.
Thank you. Any questions for Representative Mickle?
Next meeting date?
9th. September 9th. Thank you.
Human Services, Representative Martini.
Thank you, Chairman Frazier. So first up was Director of Community Services, Jeanette Powis. We started with talking about a criminal court order for 2 individuals. These are commonly known as 730s. We've been talking about this. We'll continue to talk about this because it is a substantial amount and we cannot predict when it will actually happen. First off, we agreed to pay the bill that we have to pay. And that is, well, we'll do that. That is resolution number 306. So on 730s, these are the charges that we have to pay for individuals deemed incompetent to stand trial, trying to return them to competency so they can stand trial. These can run upwards of $50,000 per month per individual that is in the county's custody. There is, however, a bill that has passed the state Senate. It's currently, hopefully, on deck at the Assembly. And I think Assemblymember Angelino's helped with this. If anyone cares, it's Assembly Bill 5567A. Hopefully it will be on the docket for January when the Assembly is back in session. The chair of that particular committee that it comes out of is Jeff Dinowitz, and it would be worth sending him an email saying, hey, we'd love to see this happen. And if you'd like more information, let me know. The next up was Department of Social Services Commissioner Lisa Mini. A lot of this is pretty routine. The monthly stats are up, and remember this was last month. At the OFO shelter, there were 5 families. 6 rooms were being used at Motel 88. At Crossroads, there were 11 rooms, 0 at Genie's Dream Motel, and 9 tiny homes were occupied. And the OPD stats are, there were 10 calls to Motel 88, and 3 involved DSS housed individuals. We've been talking about potential impacts to Medicaid and Medicare and SNAP, and we're still trying to figure all of that out. It is a moving target, as you might imagine. Next up was Director Tammy Reed for Office for the Aging. She accepted the annual Alzheimer's Caregiver Respite Grant, which is an important service. The office is purchasing a new handicap accessible van for medical transportation. And the reason why they're actually purchasing that van rather than going through Enterprise is that they have to make so many modifications to the van that it just makes more sense financially to buy one, make the modifications, as opposed to having to keep making new modifications to new vans every year or two. Next up was Heidi Bond, Director for the Department of Health. Ticks, it's all about ticks. If you want to learn more about ticks, talk to Heidi. I advise learning more about ticks. So we're still struggling with providing early intervention services. Just FYI, New York State ranks 50th in the nation in providing early intervention services. And the state owes counties over $170 million in Medicaid retro payments from 2013 to 2018 on these services. So more to come on that. It is a continual topic. And that was pretty much it. Coming out of that committee were resolutions number 302, 304, 305, and 306. Our next meeting, I just realized I will be at NISAC, the biannual New York State Association of Counties meeting on Tuesday, the 9th, which is when we were supposed to meet. I just found out that Representative Bazile will not be able to attend, which would leave it to Representatives Bliss, Brockway, and Mendez, and I can reach out to Nora to see if she would be able to. So I am fine with you guys proceeding. But we need to have quorum. I'll reach out to Nora. So hopefully that will be when the meeting is on the 9th at 9 a.m. If not.
Thank you. Any questions for the chair?
We're 50th in what? Childcare intervention?
Early intervention, let me just make sure I get the phrasing right. Early intervention services, and these are services that are pre-K kids. So these are younger kids.
So we're last.
New York State is, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. In this area, a lot of that is just geographic because there's a lot of distance to cover. Some of that is also the way the legislation is written, but that is a longer discussion.
And getting the people who actually do the training
Provide
for
the-
the
yes.
younger children.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're not the only state with geography.
No. But we are, and we're also not, to be fair, I don't know that any state is knocking this out of the park. Like,
Right.
You know.
Right. Okay. I just want to
Yes,
make sure.
so
I
some
heard
of it
that
is
correctly.
providers, some of it is legislative, some of it is moving kids around where they need to be.
How
So
about allocation of monies?
it's a multifaceted.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public Safety and Legal Affairs, Representative Gilbert.
Thank you, Chairman Frazier. We met here August 14th at 1 p.m., full quorum. First, to address the committee was, we had a presentation by our budget analyst on the 2025 quarterly program review, second quarter. Next up was Under Sheriff Allison, who submitted the 2025 corrections, the July 2025 corrections summary. Requested a resolution and approval to hire a transfer and correction officer above grade. That was approved. Requested equipment purchase. That was approved. Requested an approval of a budget transfer from contingency to materials and supplies as they were running out. And then next on the list was, there's some more, requested a budget transfer and additional for jail medical. That was approved. E911 Director Robert O'Brien came up next. Chair Wilbur requested a motion for executive session. We went into executive session for personnel issues, I believe it was, and then we came out. Mr. O'Brien requested approval to purchase some equipment for the towers. That was approved. He also requested to purchase microwave equipment. That was approved. And also requested to purchase a tower structure for the new Butternuts Tower site. That was approved. He requested a resolution to approve funds come out of the ambulance reserves. That was approved. Next up on the list was our public defender, Attorney Lettuce, gave us a status update on the assigned counsel program. Determining salaries for and finalizing a local law for that office. Emergency Services Director Victor Jones was up. Fire coordinator. He requested an extension of the contract with SMSA, who is the architect for the proposed fire training center. That was approved. He also requested approval of a retroactive extension with COOP, CEMP, which expired on August 1st. That was approved. He requested approval to purchase a variable message board. That was put on hold for a time being. Also requested approval to accept the resignation from Deputy Fire Coordinator Mesky. That was approved. We expect for him to come back though. Inform the committee that he'll be meeting with the personnel director to discuss changing the terminology of the Deputy Fire Coordinator EMS coordinator position. We acknowledge that he requested approval to purchase Starlink subscription. That was postponed until see how we do budget-wise later on. He requested a resolution to honor Jonathan Ash and Will Smith, who we honored today. Very well done. Very well deserved. Next up was Child Advocacy Center Director Uterman was here. Requested approval to utilize the rest of her OCFS grant funding for different uses to include supplies. Let's see what else was in there. Food and refreshments for victims and families, printing, decor, and other items that are covered by grant. Requested approval to utilize the rest of the grant funds to be spent on family group event supplies. Requested approval to pay the Otsego. Hang on 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Requested approval to send a number of people off to different training programs. That was all approved. Again, to send up to 10 multidisciplinary team members to the New York State SCA, State Children's Alliance, for training. That was approved. This is all grant funded, covered by grants. And also to send an additional 10 multidisciplinary team members to additional training. These disciplinary team members don't necessarily all come out of her department. They could come out of the sheriff's office, out of the district attorney's office, and other county agencies, further their education and dealing with child advocacy. District Attorney John Neal presented and asked for us to create and fill a full-time assistant district attorney position to be filled in January 1 of 2026. We approved that. County Clerk Jennifer Basile was here and requested a resolution to accept the mortgage tax home rule extending 2025 resolution for January 1st, 2026 through December 31st of 2027. That was approved. Also requested a resolution to adopt a local law for the continuation of the mortgage tax. That was approved. Before I forget, we will be meeting here at 1 o'clock on September 11th. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for the chair?
Can you repeat that?
All of it?
I guess no, right?
Okay. Moving on, solid waste environmental concerns. Representative Bliss.
Thank
you. We met on August 14th at 11 here in this room. Our next meeting is September 11th at 11 here again. If you started off with Jacinda Hoteling and doing her budget analysis for the second quarter. As always, it was very informative and helpful. Solid Waste then took over and did a PowerPoint on the second quarter strategic plan update for theirs and explained their priority outcomes for the second quarter and plans for the future. Solid Waste, Kyle King then gave us MSW and C&D report. Those statistics are all in the minutes for your review. If you have any questions, let us know. Soil and Water then was next. Representative Kennedy mentioned they're working on their 26 budget request. It should be similar to last year. Currently anticipating it'll be similar to last year. And talk about their performance measures that they are planning to meet and have met to hit their goals for their request for both us and the state. Tammy Harris mentioned Hazard Waste Day was going to be coming up shortly. It's passed and as always was very popular and well run. Thank you to them for coordinating that event. She also gave a brief update on the leachate project up from MOSA up in the Montgomery County area. We've had an agreement to meet with all the leadership on site. As far as I know, there's not been scheduled yet. And she also mentioned that the holdup on the geographic names, everything's kind of been approved except Niskayuna Rock, because that is a Mohawk word. They had to contact the St. Regis tribe to get their approval, and that is in process. So as soon as they approve or disapprove that name, we have to come up with an alternative name if they disapprove it, but we don't anticipate any problems. And that will be finalized. And that was pretty much it. As I mentioned, we adjourned and we'll meet again on Thursday, September 11th.
Thank you. Questions for the chairman? Hearing on administration, Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Chair Frazier. The administration committee met at 9 o'clock on August 21st. And we had community services requesting the funds as reported by Representative Martini, which we did approve the bill to pay the bill and do the budget modification. Those are unknown, so we did have to move some money from contingency to pay that bill. And there may be more to come, almost assuredly more to come in that 730 category moving forward. Department of Social Services, we agreed that MOU with the county attorney's office so that they could work together when needed to cover all of the things that the county attorneys need to be doing. The sheriff's office, we agreed, we approved to hire above base. We approved the purchases as outlined by Representative Wilbur. And additionally approved the budget transfers to cover some of the expenses that the sheriff's office has incurred throughout the year. Then we had the 911 office come in and we approved the purchases again as Representative Wilbur reported in the PSLA meeting. We had those same purchases approved from his SICG grant. So we're moving through that. We approved contracts and transfers as well. Then moved into highway where we approved the things that Representative McCarty has reported on, filling above base for the temporary employees, extending the resolution to keep the temporary assistant in the business manager position for a couple more months. We approved purchases, the generator purchase, the property purchase, the equipment with chips purchases. District attorney created the part full-time assistant DA position. Treasurer's office reported in on the foreclosures. And this is important. The foreclosure date for this year, they did bump it back a little bit. So now the official date that people must pay their tax bill to prevent it from being put into the auction is October 31st of 2025. It had been October 15th, but now it's October 31st. So that was from Alan Ruffles. We did discuss RVs and how they fit into the codes and short-term rental kind of paradigm. So that was an interesting discussion and more clarity hopefully will be coming down the line on that. We listened to a discussion by Empower, who is our current deferred compensation plan management for all the employees who have money in that account. They manage the account and manage the concerns directly for the retirees who have money in the account, or people who are putting it in who are current employees. So they gave us a report on how they do that and what they do, the service they provide to our employees. We had an executive session with county attorney. And then when we did come out of that executive session, we did approve to add additional counseling hours to our telehealth contract. So up to 6 hours per employee per year. So we do have that available to employees who would like to have additional counseling. Across the board, any employee is entitled to that counseling. County clerk, we accepted mortgage tax home rules for 1/1 of 26 through 12/31 of 27, and we also renewed the local law number 6 of 2024 so that we could continue collecting the mortgage tax. Department of Health, we accepted public health emergency preparedness grant. Emergency services, we extended the contracts as previously reported. And we also approved the resolution to honor the firefighters from Milford Fire Department, Jonathan Ash and Will Smith, as we saw them be recognized this morning. So we endorsed that as well. Office for the Aging accepted funding for an Alzheimer's caregiver respite grant and also did a budget transfer. County Administrator's Office had us accept the salary savings as a budget transfer. And also did a budget mod for the opioid settlement monies. And And we approved the compliance policies that were presented to us. And we also did pass a local law to override the tax cap for a number of reasons. And we will be discussing that a little bit later in the meeting. So more to come on that. Building services, we renewed those maintenance and repair contracts. County Attorney's Office coordinated a discussion with the attorney who was helping the village of Gilbertsville on the 19A process, which is where they declare a building to be a danger and need to take it down. We agreed to formulate a MOU, a memorandum of understanding with the village to attempt to recover any back taxes that may subsequently be made available once that property is cleaned up and potentially sold. We had our second quarter reports from Jacinda, and our next meeting is the 18th of September at 9 a.m. And then would just like to say that we do have a budget workshop today at 1 p.m. that is has a Zoom available to all board members if you're not able to stay. And that is my report. If anyone has any questions.
Any questions for the chair?
I want to get with you later, because I think Village of Milford could maybe utilize that 19A. They still have a structure that's a problem in that village.
And I think, yes, we can talk about that.
I get calls on that frequently.
Yeah. It's a tool that municipalities can use. It's a, but it is a little complicated, but if you go through it step by step, it can be helpful.
It's really at the local level.
Yeah.
Right. no, I
We're
understand that.
involved by not objecting to them doing it. That's how we're
Well,
involved.
I think we could probably assist in,
Yep. And what's his name? Hyde Clark?
Hyde Clark, yeah.
Hyde Clark.
Yeah.
The attorney
you
that,
know, these smaller jurisdictions don't have the resources to have the knowledge and things like that, I think.
any other questions for the chair? Special committees, negotiations,
Well,
Representative McCarty.
I was hoping for a resolution to contract with the correction officers, but apparently they have not approved the contract yet.
I understand, I just found
There's
out.
one little thing is a hiccup, which Tim thinks will hiccup over, we'll see. And we haven't set up any times for this big one at CSEA, so
I know,
quiet at this time.
I know Tim and Daryl are working on times, but they're trying to get this settled first, I guess. so.
Yeah, it's
Which
just,
makes sense.
it's a small item, hopefully it'll be ready by next month.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Performance review, goal setting, technology, strategic planning, Representative Marietta.
Yes, we didn't actually, PRGS, we canceled for September, but TSP, we didn't have quorum, but there's something that we I wanted to go over briefly. Just a quick update. So I'm just gonna share my screen 1 second here. I'm just pulling up clear planning on the screen here. And I'll log in quickly. Basically, the quick update is that even though we weren't able to hold the committee meeting, and we will meet on October 28th, so hopefully my fellow committee members, we can make sure that we have quorum so we can get the updates from Steve and from the county administrator's office. But at this point, and I'm just, part of this is just a reminder, everybody, that, you know, if you log into your ClearGov account, username and password, and then once you're logged in, you just go to this ClearDocs component here, and then click on strategic plan. In the meantime, from TSP's meeting earlier this summer, the departments have been working on putting updates each quarter, but also we opened up kind of their opportunity to put updates with a more front-facing, looking ahead to 2026. So not only have department heads continued to do the quarterly updates, but they also have integrated some new priorities. And the one positive is that all departments are now represented in the strategic plan. If TSP committee recalls and the rest of the board recalls, we were missing some departments that had not, didn't have priorities identified or just didn't have representation. So you can now go through the plan and see all departments. And so if you, hopefully folks can kind of see, but there's a menu over here on the left that I'm just kind of like highlighting, and there's a department directory. And if you go into the department directory, once it loads here, then we can just go through each of these departments and as a reminder, you see right away kind of what their overall progress is, and that has to do with those quarterly updates that they're inputting. So some of our departments are showing zero progress, such as the Board of Representatives, because we haven't really tackled our own inputting at this point. That's on the agenda, but there's a number of our departments who have been entering their updates and working on their priorities. And so there's actually another menu item here called Plan Status and Project. And if you, again, once you log in, you'll see this information as well. You can see that Plan Status and Project, that the overall plan status is 42% complete, 362 essential activities. You'll see them kind of color coded by complete, on track, future, not started, minor disruption, major disruption. And these disruptions are things our department heads are entering in. So, these are the kinds of information that, this is the kind of information that our department heads are giving to us. And I know we've had a staff change in the county administrator's office with Jacinda moving to a different department, but we do hope to continue to do the quarterly updates, obviously, and bring those to each committee meeting and make sure that our department heads know that we're looking at what they're inputting and paying attention. But a lot of this can just be us logging in and looking. And so you can see all the different departments listed here. And if you highlight a department, you can actually see kind of their quick status. So there's it's very user friendly, and that is another piece that we wanted to talk about, is that this is going to go live, public facing. Our intention is to do that in the next 30 to 60 days. We talked about this from the very beginning. We wanted to get our department heads doing our quarterly updates. We're never going to be 100% on those, but we have a good start. And, I think the whole reason for implementing this platform clear plan, not only to help us better utilize our strategic plan, but also for the public to be able to search this and look at it and see what we're doing and learn more about Otsego County government, the services we're providing, and the impact we're making, and what their tax dollars are helping support. So, we're going to talk about that at our October TSP committee meeting, but our intention, is for this to happen before the end of the year, obviously. And I think that we've come a long way. I think that's definitely something exciting for us to finally be moving forward on. The other piece that I'll just say very quickly, the 2026 updates, we can't tell, they're already integrated. So Steve was mentioning that, we originally, I think conceptually, we thought there'd be kind of a start and stop, like this is the 2025 version, this is 2026 version. They all are melded together. So to truly know what those 2026 updates are, we could, for any of us who are wondering, we could ask our department heads in our related home committees, but it's all seamless now. It's all, their updates have been automatically added. The other big piece is the budget process will directly connect to the strategic plan. And I wanted to ask Steve just to share a couple comments about that, because we really are going to connect the dots between these essential activities, their their baseline services that our county departments are offering and their budgetary requests. And Steve is actually integrating that into their budget request information.
If I could just jump in and add, when you say strategic plan, to most people, their eyes glaze out because they think it's just some sort of abstract thing. But our departments have been very concrete in how they describe their strategic priorities. You know, Rich says, I will keep county roads open 24/7. And he talks about snow plows and the like. So this is a really good way for all of you to communicate to your constituents in specifics. The other thing, the budget integration that Andrew talked about, we have asked departments to create numeric, as much as possible, service levels associated with their priorities. So you will know, for instance, and this is not a fact, I'm just making it up, DSS supports 50 families supporting foster kids, for instance. That's not true. I just made that fact up, but as an illustration. And when we face budget challenges, like maybe in DSS, federal funding cut back, we will be, our department heads will be able to say, well, now we can only support 40 families. And this goes across the board, even if it doesn't have anything to do with federal budget cuts, but even our own budget challenges. I think that's going to make your budget decision making easier. It'll make life harder for department heads. At least the first go round, but I think it will help you.
Question.
Yes.
Will there be a way that mandated services will be flagged in the strategic plan?
Well, there's definitely going to be flagged in the budget aspect when they present budget requests.
Right.
I don't know. Let me look at that.
Okay.
But
Because
we should, I mean, the easiest way for them simply to say in the program, executing mandated requirements to support
right.
foster kids. Let me,
Right, and right now the strategic plan, we haven't had them integrate that kind of language, but it would be, you know, I imagine that it should be in their essential activities and, you know, their priorities, that it should have representation.
Agreed. Because especially when we start talking about budgeting, we need to be careful that with budget cuts, we're not then making ourselves unable to provide legally mandated services. Because then we are creating other situations for ourselves.
yes.
So I think that, Steve, are you good?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we wanted to just share with everyone on the strategic planning side. So, and then for performance review and goal setting, I think just a reminder, we're trying to launch this new process, and Steve, as a county administrator, the intention is for him to meet with the department heads. We're delayed in kind of moving to that rollout. So I think that the idea was for that to happen before year end. It might move a little into first quarter, but we are, that process as outlined is definitely still moving forward.
Thank you. Any questions for Representative Marietta?
I just wanted to clarify, you had said that the September meetings are canceled?
So, I'm sorry. I skipped way ahead.
Okay.
My fault. So yeah, I meant not October 28th. I'm way ahead. our next round would be September 23rd, right? Yeah, so no, the September meetings are not canceled. The intention is for
Okay.
TSP to meet on September 23rd.
Thank you.
So, and I think for PRGS, we're still in a holding pattern on that committee meeting at the moment. So most likely PRGS will not meet on September 23rd, but will meet on October 28th.
And TSP would be at
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yep, on the 23rd.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? We'll move on to the county administrator's report.
Good morning. Our budget this year is about 170 million, and we have about 72 million left to spend, so to speak. Hopefully, we won't spend all of that because that involves taking some funds from our fund balance. And we'd like to use that hopefully to help with next year. On the workforce, we lost 105 people so far this year, but we hired up 127. So even though our vacancy rate has increased, we're still hiring quite a bit of people. I'd like to note for a minute in the county administrator's report, the contingent account is at 1.3 million. That's how much is left. We've spent about 300,000 of that. We, with this meeting, I think we'll probably move another 100,000 out of that. And at HSC, we kind of did some calculations on these 700 or these 730 requirements, a lot of assumptions there. So I'm not predicting that this will happen, but given the information we had available then, we may end up spending for that an additional 900,000, which will make it pretty close to sucking up the entire contingent accounts. So heads up on that. The other thing I would just like to note on the county administrator report, page 5, I indicated that through July of this year, the county system responded to 4,528 more calls than all local responders. The eagle eye of those of you who saw that know that's ridiculously wrong. We actually, and this is a typo on my part, we actually responded to 528 more calls than all of the local responders. And that's pretty typical with last year and last month. But I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that, even though I got it wrong in the printed report. The only other thing is I would just like to, I mean, look, we spent most of this month doing budget stuff, typically grim work. But rather than focus on that, I just want to note the first meeting of the Otsego County America 250 Commission will be tomorrow in Oneonta. And several of the commission members and I will be going to the New York State Historical Tourism Association meeting up near Lake George next week. And so that's just a headline for some of the stuff the county administrator's office has been working on. And just one other note for the full board, as Andrew mentioned, one of our ACE analysts, who you all have been quoting for most of this meeting, Jacinda Hoteling, left the budget team to go to work in another department. I think she'll do great work there. We will certainly miss her. And so I just want to let everyone know it'll probably be somebody like me or Bob doing the quarterlies. So it'll probably be more difficult to understand us when we present. we'll miss Jacinta for sure. Thank you.
Any questions for the administrator?
I have two things, more statements and questions. On the subject of the contingency, it sounds bad that we're dipping into it like that, but a lot of that was by design.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I just want for the public to know, we've designed it that way, so we're not taxing more than we should be. We're putting a lot of things in a situation where if they come to pass, we go into contingency. So-
Right. And these are basically things we can't predict.
Correct.
And if they don't happen, it
Right.
goes back into the fund balance.
Right. So it sounds bad that we're dipping into contingency like we're going over budget. In reality, we designed it to do that, so.
Very good.
The other thing is, can we get a list of who's on that 250th commission?
It's in your.
Oh, sure, we passed a resolution.
Oh, it was, okay, okay.
If you have a problem, let me know, and I have an electronic version I can send you.
I do have a question.
Sir, yes, sir.
On this Bassett transfer, I'm having trouble figuring out how this works. It says facility, it says Bassett, it says from 23 to 366, so I'm a little confused on how that chart there with the.
I believe that means we took 23 from, we delivered,
To
To-
where?
that would be the other ones.
Yeah.
No, it's on, well,
network.
No, any bad.
Okay, well, then you took 56 from Copaskill and 2-1.
so what, it's like one, potentially, one of the 23 that came from Bassett may have gone to Cobuskill.
Or Fox, or Little Falls, or O'Connor, et cetera, et cetera.
So what's the total of the transfers from July to August? You had which lineup?
The transfer, I would add up the, either the to line or the from line, but not together. Add those up at the bottom. So for instance, what is it, 23 plus 55, 157, 119, 43, 40.
You got about 300 and something.
I'm coming
Yeah.
443 is what I had, but
That's,
You have?
443 is what I came up with.
so divide that July and August, that's what, 60 days?
Right.
So that's over 5 a day?
Yeah, easily. I mean, it depends on the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just a little confusing to me. Maybe everybody else figured it out, but I just. Yeah.
Well,
So at Tri-Town down in Sydney, okay, there were 40 of them came from there too. All right, we did not transfer any down to Tri-Town, but those 40 probably came up to Bassett or Fox. None of the transfers went to Tri-Town.
Okay.
we should talk afterwards. I'm happy to change this chart so it's easier to understand.
Maybe it's just me. I don't. It is.
I'll still change it, Keith, if necessary.
Thank you.
Well, the thing of it is, when you go to a town board meeting to explain what's going on, it's kind of hard to explain what's going on if you don't know.
So this is, but asking questions clears it up for everyone. So, thank you. Any other questions for the administrator today? Would anyone like to report on any other committee or organizations you may be members of or witnessed? I went to an award ceremony last week before, Small Business Development Center, that Michelle Caton works for. They gave, a lady from the state spoke and she said that they help out 25 to 30,000 small businesses a year in New York State. And they were recognizing 12. And one of them was, Sarah Hartman from the Socre. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. But 12 of them were recognized across the state, and she was given an award for the manufacturer. Now, here at the county, we gave her a micro enterprise grant 2 or 3 years ago as a startup here in Leon. She's employing people now, developmentally disabled at Springbrook, ARC, at Otsego, and there's another one I forget. Pathfinder. She was given an award, told how great she has done. She is now in 450 stores in 11 states. She has going to be purchasing and opening up the old McDonald's on Chestnut Street to help other people, and it's going to be called the Makery. And she made a statement that 2 other businesses are moving to Oneonta because of her work there in Oneonta. So, I mean, that's a success on our part, giving a micro enterprise grant. We don't always hear what happens on the back end. So I wanted to make that clear. The other thing is Michelle was supposed to write something up and she didn't because she was given an award, and that's the reason she's not here. She was declared one of their stars. So she's down at the national conference in Florida. So I think that was all I had. We'll talk about NISAC next week or no?
I thought that I would be better prepared to talk about NISAC after, like, NISAC has some resolutions prepared to have the body pass in their sessions. And I didn't bring my binder with me that has them in it, but I thought we could just let you know that there will be resolutions passed that are speaking to some of the issues that we talked about here today with regards to mandates, and as well as the 100th anniversary of NISAC and recognition of the tool that it is as a resource for us to find out how other towns do things and help us do our work in a better, more efficient way.
Thank you.
Looking forward to going.
Mr. Frazier.
Sure.
I actually would then, second thought, say they did go to the meeting at the Morris Fire Hall where the company that's gonna put the telecommunications
Broadband, thank
on
you.
the Butternuts tower was there, and they gave a very nice presentation. So hopefully that all works out. And they said it's supposed to be in place in 3 years, and it's supposed to have been working for 1 year back at that time. So the timetable is set for getting that on there.
Yeah, my phone reminder went off when I got off the mower that night that I was supposed to be there. I'm sorry I missed it. It was last Thursday, right?
Yeah.
It was last, yeah, so. Thank you. Anyone else? We need a motion to dispense with the reading of all reports and resolutions. We have a motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any representative wishing to remove a resolution from the consent agenda? Representative Wilbur.
I'd like to remove poll 319.
Any other representative want to remove a resolution? Hearing none, I'll call for action on the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Wilbur, Mariana, thank you. Roll call vote.
Frazier,
Aye.
Powers,
Aye.
Brockway,
Aye.
Peyton, absent, Kennedy,
Aye.
Mickle, Bliss,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Mendez, absent, Martini, Scanlon, absent, Lucille.
Yes.
Consent agenda 296 to 318, 320, and 321. 79 ayes, no noes, 21 absent, no abstentions. Consent agenda.
Resolution 319 proclaiming the month of September 2025 as First Responders Appreciation Month. Wilbur, Mickle, Peyton, Brockway, Powers.
Need a second?
Oh, second.
Representative Wilbur.
I pulled this because I believe it deserves individual recognition and acknowledgement, particularly because of what we presented here this morning. I've been in the fire, associated with the fire service almost 50 years, I hate to admit that, but what occurred in Milford was a big deal. I mean, that was huge. That department is no longer there, so obviously it was an action that needed to be taken. So I just wanted to pull this so it wasn't buried in our mundane work that we do, and convey our true appreciation to all of our first responders, no matter what area that they are operated in. I want to recognize all of the men and women that make it happen, particularly those who do it for free.
Okay,
You want me to read that?
if you would like to, sure.
Resolution proclaiming the month of September 2025 as First Responders Appreciation Month. Wilbur, Mickle, Peyton, Brockway, Powers, whereas first responders are our primary defense against all emergencies that threaten our communities. And whereas first responders include firefighters, emergency medical services providers, law enforcement, 911 dispatchers, and other roles in the public safety sector, both professional and volunteer. And whereas first responders show courage and selfless concern for others as they carry out their duties, risking their own safety to protect others. And whereas first responders are highly trained, specialized workers who contribute their excellent skills to the safety of the public. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Representatives of Otsego County hereby declares and proclaims September as First Responders Appreciation.
And a second?
Yes.
And a second. Oral vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Local Law D of 2025, a local law imposing an additional mortgage recording tax in Otsego County.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we will be holding this over. We will be holding this over for public hearing on our October 1st board meeting at 9:45. 9:45.
Local Law E of 2025, a local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law 3-6.
Second.
So this will be held over for public hearing on our October 1 board meeting, and we will do 10:50. How's that?
9:50?
9:50, sorry. I was pressing it. Thank you. We have late. If there are no objections, late resolution A will be acted upon in accordance with the rule.
Nope. Late resolution will now be 322, authorizing the chair of the board to sign an agreement with the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority to receive grant funds. McCarty, Wilbur, Marietta, Scanlon, Mendez.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Frazier,
Aye.
Powers,
Aye.
Brockway,
Aye.
Caton, absent, Kennedy,
Aye.
Mickle,
Aye.
Bliss,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
McCarty,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Mendez, absent, Martini,
Aye.
Scanlon, absent, Basile.
Yes.
Resolution 322, 79 ayes, no noes, 21 absent, no abstentions. 323 passes. If there are no objections, late resolution B will be acted upon in accordance with the rules of order.
Late resolution B will be 323, approving the purchase of 0.2 acres plus or minus of land for the repair and temporary relocation of the bridge located on County Route 58A in the town of Milford. McCarty, Wilbur, Marietta, Scanlon, Mendez.
Second.
Any discussion?
Seems like a lot of money for 0.2 acres, that's what we're gonna do.
That was the, believe it or not, that was the appraisal. So. Roll call vote.
Frazier,
Aye.
Powers,
Aye.
Brockway,
Aye.
Caton, absent, Kennedy,
Aye.
Mickle,
Aye.
Bliss,
Yes.
Marietta,
Yes.
McCarty,
Yes.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Mendez, Blessing, absent,
Thank you.
Martini,
Aye.
Scanlon, absent, Basile.
Yes.
Resolution 323, 79 ayes, no noes, 21 absent, no abstentions. 323 passes. Is there any unfinished business today? No special order? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Recording stopped.